it's Nicci at the Monogram Shop. You've probably been following us along on our blog about the remodel that we've done to our studio, and I want to give you a little heads up of what was going on and give you a walkthrough. Hopefully you'll be excited about it. For the past couple of years I've been traveling and teaching a lot, and we have a new warehouse out in Grovetown, and I've had offices in 2 different locations. So I've had offices out in Grovetown and also at my home, and I've had 2 different studios as well, out in Grovetown and here. We still have our building out in Grovetown in our offices, and we've grown a huge amount, and it's become very complicated to film there or here, and then also have to do my office paperwork. So I've been traveling and creating, so everything, I'm pretty much a bag lady is what I've been for the last couple of years. It's been a little bit stressful, and it's not been fun, but I would like to say that I've been pretty content about it, but I haven't. I've been very vocal. It's difficult. Every time we've gone to film anything or produce content for you or produce content for Baby Lock or our viewers, whatever I wanted has been in a different location, a different office, a different studio, and that's been hard on me. Fortunately for us, we were very blessed to be able to do a remodel, so we were able to combine. What we did was we combined my own personal studio and a spare room. We took out a wall. So the original room, where my sewing room was, my own personal room, was 10 by 10. Or 10 by 12. And then I also have offices in our Grovetown building and a small sewing studio there as well. What I didn't have was an office at home or a place to produce content very effectively for our events and our trademark shows, which are very popular, and we really appreciate that, you guys. But it was getting complicated. Everything was in a bag or a tote or a crate or a suitcase, going back and forth, and it just was making us crazy. So Alan had a great idea. He said, let's knock out a wall and let's make it happen. And he did make it happen. This remodel started on October 19th, and it was finished exactly 3.5 weeks later. That included knocking out a wall, putting in a whole new floor, rewiring, and electrical. We still need lighting, and we still need our window treatments, and we're waiting on 1 unit to come from Baby Lock, which is my koala studio we're super excited about. But we thought we'd do a walkthrough because so many of you asked about how we planned out this space. So hopefully I won't miss anything. I have some notes I'm going to go by. So one of the first things that we did was we figured out what needed to go in the space and what the space was going to be. And we really needed, I still needed my own personal sewing studio because that's where I design things. So I'm always going to need that. That's just who I am. Luckily for me, Alan accepts me for who I am. I have to have a design space. I also needed a home office because a lot of times I arrive back home at midnight from an event. I'll leave on a Thursday and I'll come back Sunday night. Normally I have to be up at 4 or 5 to go to the warehouse to work in the offices there. And that's a little hard. I would love to be in my pajamas on Monday and still get some work done. So that's something that's beneficial. We also needed somewhere to produce content for our events that was in one location where I could plan and test out projects. Right now I've been doing it between 2 offices and it makes me crazy. And then also somewhere to film for our online Facebook social media groups and social learning. We're doing a lot of social media learning, and we're having a lot of video content available to you, and that's been really hugely popular, and it's been fun. So we defined the space. Those were the 4 things that needed to happen in the space. So we knew we had to knock the wall out. We couldn't do that in a 10 by 10 space. So this new space is, think 10.5 by 27. I don't know, I think I'm making that. Alan's nodding, he said yes, so that sounds right. So the wall's been knocked out, and we're going to tell you what we did, just so you guys can have an idea of what's going on. So we're going to look at this unit first. This came, some of you who followed along know that we went to IKEA. It was a little bit of a crazy situation, but we went to IKEA with a plan about what we needed, and this is an IKEA Liatorp, forgive my pronunciation, I'm not Swedish, sideboard. It's a sideboard. It's meant to go in a kitchen. It's made by IKEA. It's 57 inches wide, and its depth is like 18.5 inches. Alan used 3/4 inch plywood board and then ironing board fabric. He kind of pulled it down and stapled it to the back with also some quilt batting to make a pressing station, which is really nice. Now, one of the reasons why I chose this particular unit is because it has lots of storage for fusible stabilizers, pressing mats, pressing hams. You know, if you sew, you need all these fun things. It has stabilizers, lots of starch. I've got some Material Magic, some spray, and other fusibles, mini irons, different pressing pads. And the other side has got room too. So these doors open. It was a little bit of a booger to put together, I'm not going to lie. The instructions, they aren't written. There's just little pictures, so it's kind of crazy. So there's stabilizers, some pre-cuts. But one of the things I really loved and wanted in this room was a drawer. So I could kind of keep iron cleaner, maybe some applique pressing sheets, pins, some little things that you need when you're creating projects. Even a hammer for those really big, thick seams. You know, sometimes when you're making a needed good design blocks, you need a hammer. This one's really nice. Alan got me this one. So that was really important. The other thing that was really important was ruler storage and hoop storage. A lot of times with sewing rooms, it gets completely crazy because everything's stuck everywhere. So anything you can get up off the floor and onto the wall is really important. Now, this was a piece of slat board. I think it cost about $80 normally. Alan cut it. I think they're 4x8, and Alan cut it in half. So it's 4x4. It's the perfect size. You do have to make sure that you get slat board hooks. Pegboard hooks won't work. So this basically is anything that I would need to hoop and press, and I normally am pressing things while I'm hooping, so this is a good station for that. The Liatorp total station cost, the actual sideboard cost $360, but it came up to about $420 by the time you bought the home deck fabric and the board and those kind of things. One quick hint, if you buy wood at Lowe's, they'll cut the piece size to fit for 25 cents, which I think is kind of cool. And then the iron. This was very important. I could not stand a steam iron. I couldn't understand why anybody wanted one. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. And I'll be honest, I didn't really like the brand of Rowenta. Well, this is a Rowenta, and it's called a Perfect Steam Iron. And I want to give a shout out to Ruthie from Ruthie's Notions in Baker, Florida. Ruthie, I used this iron, I think about 1.5 years ago in a class that I taught for her, and I fell in love with it. And she was so sweet. She gave it to me as a gift, and I love it. Great iron. It has a well or a tank, so it shoots steam out. Great if you sew, quilt, or embroider. I love it. So that pressing station, hooping, ironing. Let's see, I think we were at $420 total. Wasn't too bad. All right, let me clear my throat here. Okay, this was the beast of the room, and I have to say that this was planned from the beginning. I'm going to call it a work unit, wall storage, whatever you want to call it. Very, very important part of my sewing room because of the fact that I needed a lot of storage. And this is made up, it's composed of section or section, S-E-K-T-I-O-N, and those are IKEA cabinets. And they're lower units, lower kitchen units, and they actually open. So the doors open, and then the drawers open. So they're basically kitchen cabinets, and they're very deep, and they've got an easy slide glide. Now, we had some issues with IKEA. They didn't give us the correct parts. I normally wouldn't have put doors on this, but that's what had to happen. But as you can see, I can keep my pre-cuts in here. I like to buy a lot of kits when I go to my dealers. I love to buy kits. And then just some other fabric and scraps. People are always surprised. They think that I have a lot of scraps, but and a lot of fabric and a lot of yardage, but I actually don't. The other reason why I chose to build this unit in is because I have a lot of digital cutters. So I've got my Cameo Silhouette and my Scan and Cut and all the fusibles and just basically all the little parts and pieces that you need. You know, you have all these like crazy parts with all these digital cutters. You've got the little, markers, tape measures, tape, just everything. The scanning mats, everything. It's crazy. Power supply, cords, just anything you could possibly want. All the little tidbits and stuff. So I needed drawers. And how these units come is you buy the unit and then you buy the shelves and the drawers. The drawers are called Maximera. So it's a little confusing when you get to IKEA if you go to the kitchen section, but a lot of their pieces interlock and work together. So that's kind of handy. One thing that's interesting, they don't sell knobs, so I don't know if you're like supposed to magically open things, but we went ahead and got our knobs from Lowe's. They were really handy. I love this because I can work at this station. It has a countertop. We also purchased, I think, 2 lengths of countertop. So we purchased 3 lower cabinets and 2 upper cabinets, and we have 9 drawers, and then we have 4 upper drawers. So 9 lower drawers, 4 upper drawers. And what's really nice is, I'm going to open on this side. I know that AccuQuilt dies are very popular, and they're difficult to store. They really are. So they're meant to be stored upright so that the blades points don't get damaged. And this is just a really great way to store your AccuQuilt pieces and stuff. Up above, I've got some collage pieces that I'm working on. So those are up there. And then I really just like that it has this storage. So these are silks for my embellisher. And then down here, parts and pieces to the machines that are sitting on this table. Now let's talk about these tables. The countertop that we used is very important in a sewing studio because not every machine needs a whole cabinet, a very expensive $2,000 cabinet. Some machines do. A Destiny is a large machine. It's heavy, it needs a big cabinet. This Baby Lock Lyric I purchased from Marietta, Marietta's Quilt and Sew in Simpsonville, South Carolina. I love it and it sits very well. This countertop would hold a Destiny, but it's better suited to these other machines. So this one holds a Baby Lock Lyric, and then over here we have the Baby Lock Embellisher. And I got this from Pat at Cut Up and Sew in Palm Coast, Florida. And what I love both about Marietta and Pat is they both took the time to showcase this machine to me. Although I am an educator and I'm a professional sewing instructor and embroidery artist, they took the time to show me these machines. So this countertop, Alan actually put power in, so we've got power supply, so I can plug in any machine and use it. But I can also, if a friend wants to come over and sew, she can now come over and sew, and I can just scoot that out of the way. She can bring her machine. She can use this one. It's wonderful. So I love that. Thank you to Ruthie's Notion and Marietta's, and also to Pat down in Cut Up and Sew. I really love to shop local with the dealers, and that's helpful. Let's see, pegboard. This pegboard, let me make sure I give you the notes correctly. This pegboard was bought, I think it also comes in a 4x8 sheet. Alan's nodding. And it was cut. Alan cut it and painted it. On the back is 1x1 that's been, is it nailed into place, screwed into place? Okay, the reason you need that 1x1 on the back of the pegboard is so that when you mount it on the wall, the peg hooks can actually go through. So you don't mount pegboard flat to a wall. And Alan added this extra little detail and painted it for me. He made this piece for me a couple years ago, and I absolutely love it. It helps to have things hang out. I love all my, these are, if you guys are following the row by row, these are all the row by rows I've collected. They're going to be into something, I promise, but they're out to remind me of that. And then just other different little things that I really like and love. One drawer I kind of want to show you, and I'm going to open it. Hopefully Alan can kind of showcase it to you. One thing IKEA does have that I super, super, super love are these plastic drawer units. They fit down inside of these drawers perfectly. They're the right height. And this is a great drawer. It's got like zippers, bindings, home decorating, elastic, and then of course my handy glue gun. A good tip I can give you is to always keep the items where you'd be using them. It's very likely that if I were using the glue gun, I'd probably be using it at this counter. So that's why this is here, and that's where the power source is. So you have to think about that when you're planning a sewing room. What are you going to use? What do? Do you craft? Do you quilt? Do you sew? I don't quilt a lot, so you'll notice my pressing table is not really wide. I don't need one because I'm not going to make a big quilt. Just kidding, I'm not really going to. These little shelves came from Amazon, and they are actually nursery quilt shelves, so they're meant to hold books. Very inexpensive. I think 2 of them were $22. They're very easy to mount, so I thought they were really neat. So countertop and cabinets came from IKEA. These came from Amazon, very inexpensive. And Alan actually custom made that for me. And I think I figured it was about $800 for all the cabinetry, including the slides and the pulls and the pins and the shelves and the drawers. Those are all bought separately. Now, I will say this. Hopefully you have better success with IKEA than I did, because I didn't get a lot of assistance at all. We had to really kind of wing it. So, but fortunately, my husband's very handy. I don't want to be remiss in mentioning this. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is not new, but this is an IKEA rolling cart. It's an aqua. They're only $25, and if I remember correctly, it came pre-assembled. We bought it a couple years ago. It's one of my favorite pieces. It has swivel casters, it's inexpensive. When I'm working on a project, I can stack things in it, but it also gets out of the way. It slides underneath this unit, and that leads me to a workroom. I want to talk to you about a workroom. When you have a studio or a sewing room, a workroom table is what this is. This is a horn cutting table. It's actually 40 by 60. It's one of my favorite pieces. I've had it for 10 years. It's solid made. What a workroom table entails is nothing's on it. So if your workroom table's full of stuff, start buying cabinets or drawers or things where you can put things away, because it makes it hard to lay things out and plan your project. And this is a really great unit for it. This they still sell. This is a horn cabinet. It's a 7500 series. I've had it for 10 years and it's solid. The only change that Al and I made where we replaced the plastic casters. I'm not a huge fan of the casters that came with it, and this floor really required rubber wheels. So I kind of want to show you, because I want you to think about steps when you're dealing with the sewing room. This is the drawer, and you'll notice it's got some rotary cutters, some little rulers. My other rulers are over there. And then, of course, I want you to think outside the box. Like, this is where I usually hoop. So this is where my hoop tightening tool is. It's not somewhere else. It's right here where I would use it, okay? The other really nice thing about this cabinet is it has stand-up storage for interfacings and extra little parts and pieces. You guys can kind of see that. And then the doors close. And then, one of the things I really love about this horn table, it's really awesome. This is a pull-out thread unit. So these are all my sewing threads. These are not embroidery threads. So this just kind of pulls out, and I can find my quilting threads, different types of sewing threads. It's a really neat feature. And then there's drawers down here as well. Look, that one's empty. I think I have to go shopping. Honey, I have to go shopping. I have an empty drawer. And then up here, bobbins and extra rotary cutters and blades and things like that. Tons of storage. I cannot tell you enough. I have had tons of storage. This unit has been in storage for a little while and hasn't been in use in my sewing room because we didn't have room. So I'm super excited about that. Next thing I know you're going to ask about, the thread racks. These were custom made by a dear, dear friend of mine. Maureen Smith's husband made them. He's retired from Lockheed Martin. He's not looking to be in business, but I can give you some advice. It's about 4 feet wide, and what he did was he used pins like metal nail heads and he measured the distance. His wife embroiders as well. So it's custom made. If you know a woodworking guy, maybe he can make you one. He's not looking for a job though, so he doesn't make them for other people. It was a Christmas gift, a very nice one. Okay, moving right along. Quilting, embroidery, sewing. I should say embroidery first because I love to embroider. This cabinet is called a Quilter's Cloud 9, and it's made by Fashion Sewing Cabinets. I love this table. I bought it last year. It definitely was going to come into the new remodel, and I kind of want to show you some things on it because I think it's wonderful. It has an electric lift for when you want to drop the table, when you want to drop the machine down in for frame motioning. And there's a flap on the back that actually will flip up if you want to quilt on it, which is really kind of neat. And then it has some great drawers. One thing I really love about the drawers, and thank goodness these are clean because you're probably going to get to see them. I can have my needles, my pins, different little screwdrivers and tools, maybe some thread snips. By the way, these are my favorite thread snips of all time. They're made by Havells. They're called Snip-A-Stitch. See that little curve? They're wonderful. And then other things in the other drawer, my extra feet, different little parts and pieces, extra bottoms and stuff like that. I really, really love that. Excellent storage. The back flips out. It's very rare for me to flip it out because we usually film and I don't make a lot of quilts. But that leads me to my light. This is a Luminos. It's called a daylight lamp. I want to personally thank Jeannie and Patrick Mulligan from A1 Sewing. They actually sent this to me as a gift, which I thought was really, really sweet. I think people think that I always get things for free and people send things to me. I generally buy everything that I use in my own personal sewing room, but this was a gift and it is awesome. I don't know if you guys can kind of see this, but the light, it dims and then shuts off, and it's just with a touch. It gives a lot of light, and it's got a swing arm, so it's kind of cool because it just can kind of swing around. So if you've ever been really like trying to trim something and you need to get close, you just kind of swing it around. Now for me, we film a lot in this area, so you'll notice that we did very minimal decoration behind the machine. I didn't hang a lot of shelves, and that's because it's distracting during filming. But you may want to have, you know, maybe a little different experience. Maybe you want to hang things up there. Okay, makes sense? All right, so we got that light shut off. So let me check my little notes. Okay, next thing. Next up that we thought was really cool is an IKEA hack. And we're going to come over here and we're going to show you what it looks like. This IKEA hack is actually, and let me try to explain this. What is an IKEA hack? An IKEA hack is actually, let me get on this side so you guys can really see this. An IKEA hack is when they take certain IKEA parts and they combine different pieces to hack something. And this one's really interesting. This is called a 4 cube, so these are 4 different units. It's actually it's just 4 parts of wood. It's called a Calyx 4 cube unit. And it has a drawer insert, which is just a little insert that you buy. And then it has these sliding casters that you screw into the bottom. So it's basically a rolly cart. It rolls, it's locked right now, has my AccuQuilt on it. I bought my AccuQuilt from Penny down at Keep Me in Stitches down in Florida, and I absolutely love it. She took the time to show me the machine, and I fell in love with it. I love AccuQuilt. But this one's very, very important rolly cart because I think the cost was only $129, including all the pieces and bits. I love it. It's very, very handy. Little corner unit. It came from Amazon. It's nice for holding maybe little discs and CDs. I think it's kind of fun. I haven't filled it up yet. We just got finished Sunday about noon with this remodel. All right, desk. Let's talk about this desk because that's probably the most interesting thing. One thing I've noticed is that I was reading up a lot on IKEA, and people hack things a lot as far as IKEA is concerned. But sometimes there's a lot of tips, but what I was looking for was a desk, but not a full-blown desk. I needed to still work in the sewing room. So this desk cost us about $213. We used 2 of the 5-drawer mini Alex carts. They're just little Alex units. They have 5 drawers. And then we bought the Linneman tabletop, and this one's about 56 inches wide. Alan did bracket this on the sides and the back so that it's connected. So that's something you really want to do, square it up and connect it, especially if you're going to put a machine on it. I don't plan on putting a machine on this, but that's the case as it is right now. Behind me is something really cool too. So that's the desk. It costs about $213, and I think, was it a pretty big headache? Alan says the Alexes aren't that hard to put together. I really struggle with the drawers. I super struggle with the drawers, so like the casters and the side units and stuff like that. So I just got completely flabbergasted and bummed out and left. But Alan's very handy, so he took care of it. Cubby wall. This is a Calyx, and it's K-A-L-L-A-X. A lot of their units that are cubed are called that. So this is the 16 part one, meaning you get 16 cubbies. We wanted to get 24, but I'm so glad it was a happy accident that we didn't end up with the right one because we actually needed a smaller one. So it has 16 different cubbies, and then you can buy these extra little inserts. So they're just little inserts, like some are drawers, you can kind of see. And you just build them and you insert them into it. So you can have either just empty cubbies or you can buy these, and these are each individual. I think they're about $13 for each little unit. The whole wall was about $80, but when I added it up, it was about $160 with all the extra little pieces, which leads me to up here. What the heck is this? It looks like it's IKEA, but it's actually not. This is a paper crafting station from Amazon, and these are too. And I just went to Amazon, and in the search bar, I typed in craft cubes, sorting cubes, office cubes, and these came up. And these are really great little drawers to put things in. If you're short, you may not be able to put this up very high, but I'm almost 6 foot tall, so it works for me. This one has papers and it's sorted and stuff, and I think that's handy. You'll have to ignore the lighting umbrella. The lighting guy hasn't come, the electrician guy. So we have a lighting umbrella up in here, and the reason for it is to add enough light in here for the filming. Over here is a Mettler cabinet. This came from a Mon group. You'll see Madeira thread up here in rayon, and then you'll see the polysheen multicolor, the metallic, and then also the polysheen. This is my favorite thread. It's a tri-level polyester, and I get asked every time we film, where did the thread cabinet come? Can I get one? I don't think you can. Let me read my notes here. I don't think you can get a Mettler thread rack unless you talk to your dealer and you're willing to buy one. Mettler, Amon Group, was very sweet and sent this to me. I've loved their thread my whole entire life, and I'm now a spokesperson for them, and they sent it to me. But I've taken it out of the filming wall because I was getting crazy about people asking me questions. So it's now over here in the corner, hopefully. But get lots of polysheen and buy Mettler thread, but I don't know how to get your rack. Over here on the wall is some vinyl wall art, and I'm going to kind of tilt this just so you guys can kind of see that. It says, perhaps this is the moment for which you have been created, and that's Esther, that's in the Bible. And I hope this is the moment that I was created for. It'd be really awesome. Now, I don't want you to discount any kind of storage space when you go to work in your sewing room, because this is huge, this is important. These little racks, were these hard to hang? Alan says they're easy. These are only $16 a piece. This is one unit, and this is another unit. And they're 5 inches deep, and they're about, I think they're about 18 inches tall. But what's really nice about them is you can secure them to the wall. And you'll kind of notice this is behind a door. So when this door opens, there's not a huge amount of space, but you can see how much storage we manage just in this corner. Even though we don't have a lot of space in this corner, it's a great way to use up space. Okay, so be thinking when you go to work on your sewing room. Keep in mind that you can only be productive, you know, in an efficient workspace, but you have to plan that space. You have to think about it wisely. Like, how would I do that? What do I do? You know, if you don't craft at all, you probably don't need a glue gun. You don't need a countertop, maybe. I do some crafting, contrary to popular belief. All right, the closet. The closet was an issue in this room. This was an add-on to this house, and we weren't sure if we wanted to put a door in. And I asked Alan, I didn't want a door. So he painted the inside of it. And these are freestanding units. So what's interesting about these freestanding units is you just go to Home Depot, and basically, I think this was $175, and Alan bolted it to the 2x4s, or the studs in the wall, so it would be really secure. So because it's got a lot of fabric on it. And then we used the same wires, 4-wired rack shelves that are only $16 on either side to use storage. And then we've got cubbies for fabric. These are all my feet for my different baby lock machines. And then up there, there's room for pillow forms and stuff. And then maybe down here, I've got some batting. It's really great. It holds my printer because this closet actually has power. And then I've got fabric in the drawer. These are fine fabrics, garments, silks, and things. So I like to kind of keep them. I don't really like fabric in bins that much, so that's kind of an interesting thing. It's great for storage, and I'm not planning on putting a door on it. You could if you wanted to. Now, let me make sure I get over here. Koala serger unit. This is my koala unit. Just kidding. This is not my koala unit, but it's on its way. Koala makes a serger unit for my Ovation serger, which I adore and love. I have ordered it in white because I like white sewing equipment. So it's 36 inches wide with a depth of 25.5 inches, so it fits perfectly right here. You can just imagine me sitting here serging at it. But that leads me to serger questions, serger thread. This rack was made by a friend of mine as well. It's a little different because it actually uses actual dowels, wooden dowels, because serger thread's a little taller. You'll probably notice that you'll only see Madeira thread on here. I love Madeira serger thread, and I know some people buy like 4 of every color. I like to blend colors to make it work with the fabric I'm using. I don't always use exact color, so that's about how that is. I don't know the retail price on the koala searcher cabinet. Sorry, I just don't. I'll find out. The window treatments are being made by a very good friend of mine. She's a professional home deck artist. Her name's Lynn Gatling. They should be ready in a few weeks, and we're deciding on shears. So that's not quite, hasn't happened yet, but we're getting there. I hope that you liked the walkthrough of this room. It was a lot of work. So I want to give some shout outs or some thank yous. I want to take a minute to thank my husband for all of his hard work and dedication. It was a huge job, huge undertaking that he did on his own. I am not handy with tools, but I did have a vision and I drew it out, and this is more than I envisioned. So much more, you can't even imagine how blessed I feel. I want to take a minute to thank Jeff Bearcloth. He's my home dealer in Augusta, Georgia. I bought so many machines from him for so many years. Always been such a good man to me. Consider him family, consider him like a brother. If you live here locally, shop with him. He's a great guy. I want to take a minute to thank Rose Smith. Rose Smith is the Southeast Region Baby Lock rep, and she is always so kind and sweet and helpful. And before I was a spokesperson for Baby Lock, she was that way. It's no different. She treats me the same that she always has with Christian kindness and love. The Baby Lock company has always done that with us, and Al and I are so blessed that Baby Lock has been so good to us and just supportive and sweet and kind and loving on us. They're an excellent company, and I cannot think of a better company to be tied to. I wouldn't want my name tied to any other company. I also want to thank Bob Bartolozzi. He's my rep out in California and Colorado. I travel a lot and teach for him, and he's a really great guy. He keeps me abreast of new things coming on, and he's just a lot of fun. He's great to uplift my spirit. I want to take a minute to thank my Destiny Divas. I want you guys to know, this remodel was really hard on us, especially because the October video got corrupted, and you guys were so sweet and so loving and just supportive of us. It was like manna. It was like manna from heaven because we were just so frustrated. Well, I was. Alan was okay, but menopause was making me crazy and I was crying. And it just means so much to us that you guys were gracious and helpful to us and gave tips and hints, and you guys just cheered us on like a cheerleader. And that's really huge. It's really important. We appreciate you guys praying for us and sending us little gifts, sending us love. Most importantly, I want to thank God because no matter the worry, how small it is, God sees it. And I know that this is a first world problem. I'm very aware. Too many offices, too much stuff, not a place to put it. What a first world problem, especially with the crisis that we have right now. But it was a big problem to me because our commute between the offices and traveling was cutting into my time with God, and it was really becoming a serious issue with me. But the Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, and He's a stronghold in times of trouble. And that's true even in this. It might seem like a small trouble to other people that I was traveling so much and that I was having to go from point to point. But God is a refuge. He's our refuge, and He's your refuge too. So I want to always give Him all the thanks and all the glory, because any success or any small measure or big measure or anything that we've ever accomplished in our marriage or in our lives has been because of God. And all that glory does go to God. So I hope that you also remember that He's your refuge too. We're super excited about the new space. You have no idea how delighted. We're so excited to make more video content for you, to continue to work with Baby Lock and our dealer partners, to just provide really great content. I hope you guys really liked it and had a great time. If you're in the Destiny Diva Club, you guys are going to get a live feed in a few days. So you get those questions ready. I'll get in here with the tape measure and we will answer those questions. Have a great night, you guys. Love you.